There have been enough stories about how the real estate industry has fallen short of fulfilling its responsibilities, how it has failed to deliver on various fronts. But today we are going to feature a wonderful case of how the real estate sector is actually giving back to the community that in the truest sense builds their business brick by brick. Take a look at how a unique initiative called Kushal in Pune is turning ordinary laborers into skilled contractors. It's time for the morning lesson for these construction workers. At Pune's Kushal training program, these construction workers get to learn while they earn. Here, unskilled labourers are trained across 6 trades that include bar bending, shuttering, masonry, tiling, plumbing and painting. The Kushal program till now has skilled and certified over 18,000 workers across Pune, Goa and Chennai, and in the process rebuilt many lives, like that of Shankar Shinde. Originally a painter, he is today a full-fledged contractor leading a whole team and clocking an annual turnover of 80 lakhs.
कुशल में मेरे को कारागिरी कैसा किया जाता है, सुरक्षा कैसा संभाला जाता है और खुद का सेविंग कैसा करने का, आगे कैसा बढ़ने का, ये कुशल ने सिखाया.
Then there are others who after the training became trainers themselves.
मुझे टीचर बनने से बहुत गर्व महसूस होता है क्योंकि मैं पहले एक वर्कर था और सब लोग मुझे वर्कर के हिसाब से देखते थे, लेकिन आज जो मैंने उस समय ट्रेनिंग लिया था तो अच्छा लगा कुशल कंपनी को, तो उन्होंने मुझे कुशल के ट्रेनर के लिए सपोर्ट किया और मुझे ट्रेनर बना दिया, तो आज मैं एक टीचर हूँ.
According to Kushal, which is a partnership project between CREDAI Pune and the National Skill Development Corporation, the most measurable outcome of their success is the rise in wages of the trained workers and their financial inclusion into the banking system.
We have been able to increase the aspirational levels of the workers, thereby wanting him to upgrade his skills, whereby also and by opening bank accounts for them, even without KYC norms, we showed them that he could save money.
The Kushal initiative in Pune is, however, just a drop in the ocean. The building, construction and real estate sector is going to employ about 66 million workers by the year 2022, according to the National Skill Development Corporation. But most of these workers are going to come in unskilled and untrained to keep pace with the evolving construction technologies in India. India is today dreaming smart cities, housing for all and toilets for all. But most will remain just plans on paper unless we start paying attention to skill development in the construction sector.
We require a large number of masons, plumbers, carpenters, electricians at dispersed locations. So the people with those requisite skills are in short supply. In addition, the people who can supervise those people to do that are further in short supply, and the entire management of the ecosystem is lacking.
Developers claim today they function at just 55% of their efficiency levels because of the unreliable supply of labor and contractors. Steady supply of skilled manpower will not only get projects on the fast track but also translate into cost savings for consumers. With camera person AJ Joseph, Vasudha Sharma, NDTV. Skilling our workforce for a modern India, the Modi government means serious business when it comes to skill development. So much so that for the first time we have a union ministry for skill development. Now the real estate sector, the construction sector is the second largest employer in India, and yet the talent in this sector is still primitive or deficient in skills. Why is it so, and why aren't we investing enough in skilling our construction labor force? I have 2 expert voices in the studio to discuss that with me, Mr. Atul Bhatnagar, COO, National Skill Development Corporation, and Dr. Niranjan Swaroop, Director of Professional Training at the Construction Industry Development Council. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me in the studio today. Mr. Bhatnagar, starting with you, you're representing NSDC here, and we saw such a wonderful example of a successful public-private partnership. Can't we replicate this on a pan-India basis? What will it take to do that?
Well, we already have a pan-India presence with our training partners, which is NSTC. And we can definitely look at more such participation of the private sector, especially with the CSR coming in. So there will be, and we do expect in the very near future, that with the CSR money coming into projects of construction where there is a very big skill gap, where there is a need for housing, the need for toilets, the need for infrastructure being made up, we would expect that the private sector will partner with the public and with Mr. Modi making these national missions on Swachh Bharat or industrial corridors or this new population that's coming in for them housing, etc. So we do expect a lot of PPP to happen.
Okay. Dr. Swaroop, you're representing the Construction Industry Development Council. Tell us, as in India, the pace of urban development has only accelerated over the past few decades, but the only subjects that we discuss when it comes to housing and urban development is land, funding, we talk about faster approvals. Nobody talks about actually skilling the men and women who build our roads, who build our homes. Why has it been overlooked for so long?
It has not been overlooked. We have been thinking that we would have people who would supply, we'll just get people in the market and come over. Yeah. If you look at the picture, today we require close to about, or rather we employ close to about 4 crore workers in construction industry. 5% of them every year retire.
But retaining them is the problem, and finding skilled talent is the problem.
Precisely. Yeah. The issue is that the perspective is changing. If you look at the worker which is coming in, earlier they were coming in from hinterlands. Yeah. Now their choices have changed. They don't want to come to construction industry. What we are getting is people who are urban youth, which have to be encouraged to come into construction industry. So obviously the educational levels change, the requirement change, and naturally the technology is also growing. Few years ago we were having conventional construction. Just requirement was to construct. Today we have cost efficient construction. Basically the need is productivity, quality, and
and also to bring in the skilled talent, you have to make it lucrative and attractive for them.
Precisely.
So and for that you need funding. And would you say that's the biggest challenge when it comes to skilling the labor force of the construction sector?
Yes, it is. We are dealing with a population which is working on a daily wage. So even one day of skilling at a place outside their work means a loss of wage. So there is the requirement for a support system which can help this daily wage worker get a certificate, get those skills which are in a standardized form, so that he or she can call himself or herself a skilled mason, carpenter, plumber, whatever it is.
Right. In your field of expertise, what have you seen is the big challenge on ground with developers of infrastructure or housing? What exactly do they complain about when it comes to finding talent and finding labor?
We are not creating those people at all. What we are getting is simple masons or simple the rudimentary workers, and that they too have over the period of time are becoming like tigers, vanishing from the market. What we are getting is completely unskilled people, untrained people who are coming and producing very, very bad product. Bottom line is the houses. Let's say we are talking about the housing or the real estate sector right now. The quality of building, if it is bad, everything goes down. So that is the reason.
Okay. So are we being too over-ambitious by talking about smart cities, housing for all by 2022? That's just about 7-8 years away. Are we prepared enough for this huge vision?
We need a teamwork. We need him,
right.
organizations like us, to work together to meet that goal. And
Mr. Bhatnagar, tell me, you've conducted a fresh study on the human resource and skill requirements in the building and construction sector. What have you found out? This time you're mapping skill gaps till the year 2022. That's also the target year for Housing for All.
Yes.
What are the standout highlights of this report?
Okay, if we break up the construction industry into two parts, one is the building construction real estate, the other is the infrastructure. By right now, we have around 45 million people employed. That's the current employment base. We see it go up to 75 million by 2022, of which building construction real estate will be nearly 52 million. And, 66 million will be the building construction real estate. And this is growing up neatly at the rate of 68.5% in the next 10 years, let's say. Now, the question is, how do we empower this new population that's coming in with the standardized skill set so that where the work is, that's where the skills be. Right now the problem in India is there are jobs without skills and there are skills without jobs. So this construction industry that is suffering from, as we rightly said, look, we don't have people who have the skills, but what are the skills required in a mason? For the first time, NSTC through its training partners and through the Sector Skill Council has defined that. And once you know what the job role of a mason is and what are the competencies required, then the people who are going to hire those masons, whether it's a contractor or it's a person in an individual capacity, the output is, and the output will be productive, it will be measurable, and you can then get projects done in time. The other thing that India is suffering from is projects overrunning and therefore the cost becoming more, and that's a wastage. Nearly, I'm told $80 billion are spent because of cost overruns, and by 2017, we'd be able to save that amount of money if we do this skilling and we get this right.
And would you say the way forward is for the public and the private to work together in tandem? Is that the only best possible solution like we saw in the Kushal case?
Exactly, because here it is, we are trying to promote learn a skill, learn more, earn more. So that's where the private industry comes in and supports these people into skill development. And the government is giving a broader vision and the private industry is finding ways to complete that vision.
Okay. Dr. Swaroop, tell us at CIDC, what are the kind of activities you have undertaken in the industry to enable skill development?
Primarily what is happening is people consider that the person who has come into the construction industry, let's train him. That is what you are simply training somebody who is in the market. We are actually going into hinterland, getting people, training them and bringing them to the industry. So this way at least we are adding to the numbers which are already working. What we do is we look at the three core issues which are generally not added: safety, quality and productivity. So we look at those and train people so that people are conscious about it. See, bottom line is, end of the day, any builder or any property, as is very rightly pointed out, cost overrun. The cost overrun will come because the time will overrun. And time will overrun because these three things will not be seen. We are trying to control that by our training and bring the people around that.
Okay. Mr. Bhatnagar, would you say that right now when a person goes out to buy a home, the few key people that he has to deal with, the developer, the lender, and of course, but the buyer is one aspect, should the laborer be the fourth aspect critical to deliver a project? Should we just not look at them as the technical hands building your homes? We should also look at like we saw in the Kushal case, they're looking at financial inclusion for these laborers. So we need to look at the social angle of this, of skilling these labor force also.
Definitely, I mean, for a buyer to meet a laborer may not be possible because the building is up.
Yeah.
But definitely,
but to look at all four angles, giving them equal importance is what I mean.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the buyer should now start posing questions to the builder, the contractor, as to what kind of certified workforce was employed to do that building. And the more the certified workforce is there, the better the building would be. Every building is brick by brick. So same brick, if the laborers and the workforce is skilled, obviously the output would be much better than otherwise.
All right. Your last thoughts, Prime Minister Modi. Prime Minister Modi is quite serious about skilling India, skill development. What's your vision for the real estate sector, the construction sector, for the industry? How can we get there when we have a huge, wonderful demographic, we have a huge workforce, but we need to skill them? How can we get there?
One way would be to follow Indian Army. Indian Army decided to engage at least 5% of skilled labor in their works. If our builders or the real estate lobby decides that they would not work without the skilled labor, or at least 5% or 10%, a minimum percent of the skilled labor, if they quantify and they put it in their brochures, that look here, I'm selling this flat, it's being built by so many skilled people, it will be fantastic.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. So there you have it, skill development in real estate sector. We need to also focus on the men and women who get their hands dirty on ground and actually build our homes brick by brick. We need to bring them into the whole aspect of policy making, deliver policies that look at their welfare and their empowerment through technical skills. Thank you so much for joining me.